All right, man. We live. Cash Media back at it again. Y'all already know, man. OKC, Minnesota just concluded. First game of the Western Conference Finals finally went underway. We're gonna have the Knicks and the Boston Celtics coming up real soon. But it was I would say it was a decent game at best for at least like the first 3 quarters. By the way, if y'all tapping in, y'all tuning in, like and subscribe to the channel. But let's get into it. Josh, obviously, you're the biggest advocate for SGA, but I also like from what I'm seeing from OKC. But I would really like for you to get your thought, be the first one to get your thoughts off, and then AK, you can follow up with Josh and your rebuttal to whatever he says, and I'm gonna follow up on you.
Thank you, Cash. I appreciate being on Cash Media, bro. It's always an honor. So, this is actually a very big moment in NBA history tonight because Shea just passed Kevin Durant for the most single 30-point games in a playoff run. In a single playoff run, he now has 7 plus point games in a single playoff run, and he's still adding on to that. Shea Gilgeous Alexander is going on a great generational run, and it needs to be discussed more, bro. People are just brushing it aside, calling him a free throw merchant, bro, acting like, he's just another one of these, high scoring guards that we've seen in NBA history, bro. No, no, no. This is different, bro. This guy is greatness. He's one of the best point guards already. If we're going by peak, not accolades, if we're going by peak, and how I evaluate peak is looking at what a guy's done in the last 3 years and really evaluating that, bro. The 2022-2023 season, he averaged 31 points a game. The next season after that, he averaged 30. And this year, he averaged 32.7. So that's 3 consecutive seasons, averaging 30 plus points per game. This is one of the greatest scoring guards we've ever seen, bro. Like, man's need to give it up. He has a top five mid range in NBA history already. And when it comes to pure scoring guards, I mean, I have to put him in the top five, low key. I mean, you got MJ, Kobe, Harden, Curry, Dwayne Wade. I think Shea's right there. Put Shea six. Like, honestly, already, bro. I mean, we're seeing a guy that can just get to his mid range. They said Shea was going to have tough time with this Minnesota defense. They said, oh, Shea don't know how to. Shea's not ready for this Minnesota defense. This Minnesota defense is going to give him trouble. Bro, he gave their ass 31 points. I mean, there's certain players, and it's very, very rare, very, very rare. There's certain players that are simply unguardable. As cool as Anthony Edwards is, as much swag as he is not on the same level as Shea Gilgeous Alexander. When we talk about superstars, Shea Gilgeous Alexander is 10 times better than Anthony Edwards, bro. Jokic was a real problem. Give credit to Jokic. Jokic was a real problem. That guy, I was worried about. That guy is on Shea's level. But Anthony Edwards, not forget about it, bro. This series is going to be a wrap. You can expect OKC to go in the finals soon. It's a big blow up performance. I think it's very indicative of how the series is going to go. And yeah, bro, Shea's on top, bro. We need to appreciate his greatness more, man. I mean, I'm tired of this guy being swept under the rug. Man, just don't like him because he's from Toronto, bro. Same city as Drake, bro. Man's left to hate on the Canadians, bro. If he was American, bro, this guy would get all the fucking hype in the world, bro. Just because he's from Toronto, you know? Man's are trying to push him in the narrative, bro. Talking about Minnesota is gonna go to the finals, bro. You hear a lot of talk about Minnesota going to the finals, bro. They don't have Shea Alexander. They have Anthony Edwards, bro. Two different tiers of players. Anthony Edwards is a cool player. He's a top 10 player. He's not on the same level as Shea. Stop it. Actually, stop it. Mess me with that shit. Yo, Cash, you're on mute again.
Oh damn, my bad. Um, yeah, AK.
Well, in the end of the day, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I mean, The Wolves went. Wait,
They
what was
scraped
it?
them. They scraped them today, bro. Really in the
Ah,
fourth quarter.
no, particularly impressive was the 3-pointers. They had 50% 3-point percentage. Like they
Yeah,
shot really well today.
yeah. Compared to Timberwolves, 29%. They're not known to be a 3-point shooting team. You know what I mean? So like Chet Holmgren, he wasn't shooting particularly well in the beginning of the first half. He was even missing some free throws um, earlier in the game. But I mean, they were still staying relatively close. Like the Timberwolves never were really to pull away in this game with the lead because they had the lead for the majority of the game for the most part. Um,
They did.
but
They had a
they
9 point
just
lead at one point. I was a little scared.
yeah, and then they just the OKC just managed to slip through and just conduct themselves as they always have throughout the season. SGA put up his usual numbers. He's getting to the free throw line. But something else in particular is that Julius Randle had somewhat of a decent game. I mean, even though it doesn't really reflect in the final score. I think Julius Randle, had a good showing today. But what were your guys' takes on Anthony Edwards' play in this game?
I mean, Anthony Edwards, what's really holding him back and what people don't really realize about Anthony Edwards is Anthony Edwards is a two-level scorer. He's got the three ball. He's one of the best three-point shooting guys in the league. He can attack the rim very hard, but his mid-range is shit. People don't talk about that enough. Anthony Edwards, he doesn't really have a mid-range game. That's what's holding him back, in my opinion, man. Anthony Edwards is a good superstar player. He can get hot, but I mean, like he's not on the same level as like the Jalen Brunsons, the
Mm-hmm.
Shays. I mean, these guys are complete scorers. When I look at Anthony Edwards, I look at a guy who, is a very good basketball player, but I mean, like I he can be the best player on a championship team, which is why he is top 10. Like I really do think, like Anthony Edwards, like I want to make that clear. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Like he can be the best player on a championship team, in my opinion. But like as like when we go into these like higher end players,
Mm-hmm.
like there's a good amount of players better than Anthony Edwards. And as a OKC fan, because of Shea Alexander, I'm a Shea fan first and foremost. He's already my second favorite player of all time. He's my new generation favorite player. Um, Going against a guy like Jokic, I was fearful, man. Like I was scared, especially after that game one. I thought Denver had a real shot to beat OKC. I will not lie to you. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and be biased, bro. I was really, really scared. Going into this Wolves series, I was very, very confident. As soon as OKC beat Denver, I was very confident going into this Wolves series. And the biggest reason for that is I look at a guy like Shea, where he's at in terms of, his caliber of skill and his caliber of talent. And I look at Anthony Edwards, who's the best player on that team, and I think there's a very big gap. So that's just where I'm coming from. Then my confidence is very high because I don't think Anthony Edwards is on the same level as Shea Alexander.
Yeah. I feel that way as a scorer. Because I still consider Anthony Edwards in that tier where he can really apply himself. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely agree with your take, on Anthony Edwards and on him needing to be a better and a more efficient shooter within the arc. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's playoff basketball, those are your most efficient shots. Like MJ, Kobe, like even with LeBron wasn't as great as a mid range shooter as MJ or Kobe.
He still had
But
it though.
that's it, huh?
LeBron still had the mid range. Like
No, yeah, he did absolutely. But LeBron peaked more so around the rim. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a finisher. He was a closer. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't his go-to shot as much as somebody like MJ. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm just differentiating like the different style. Like I would say like Anthony Edwards is more so like a LeBron, and SGA is more like MJ and Kobe. You get where I'm coming from?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
So you know what I mean? Because even with LeBron, like LeBron established the 3-point shot. There were times where it was, make or miss or, hit or miss some years, but he still applied it to his game. You know what I mean? Even way, way earlier on. He was one of the first to really be shooting half court shots. So that's neither here or there. I'm not trying to make it about him. But I think that you did highlight a very good point saying that, he could establish a better mid-range game. And that's the difference with Shea. And that's why he's able to really maximize his offensive potential because he always had that mid-range game. I feel like if SGA was, more, if he had a lot more games where he was more efficient from the three, his points per game average would easily be 35, 37. 37 points in the season. You know what I mean? On top of
the better 3-point shooter than Shea. Ant's a better 3-point. I'll give him credit for that. Ant's actually one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. I got to give him credit.
And that's not even really a knock, right? Like SGA averages 30 points, so it's not like he's really losing out. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not like he's missing a bunch of threes, and like he's still giving you production. But with Anthony Edwards, right? Like Anthony Edwards, even though he's not as polished or has a finesse as SGA as a scorer necessarily, but he has a lot of raw ability when it comes to his offensive firepower, and I feel like he's definitely improved as the year has gone on. But Anthony Edwards is somebody that still has that competitive fervor, and he's considered a two-way player. Anthony Edwards. He's somebody that has the athleticism that can maybe guard SGA man for man. To be honest, I think that's a really good matchup. To really point out and see as this series goes on, to really highlight and really pay attention to that matchup. With them playing against each other, because this is something we can see further on, as the seasons, as we see more seasons come. So I'm definitely excited for this matchup. I think this is something that I hope to see more of in the future. But, I got to give it to SGA. Definitely on the first nod in this game. Definitely took the windpipes out of him in this first game. So, yeah. But how can we expect the Timberwolves to move forward from this game one? Do you guys think it's there's a bounce back, or do you guys think that it's just going to be more of the same?
Of course, Ant is going to reflect.
He's going to reflect on this game and come back stronger. I'm telling you, he's going to have a great game in game two. And then it'll just...
Yeah, but to counter your point, Artem, this is about as good as the game as Julius Randle can have, bro. Like, this guy was not missing from three. You look at, 28 points on 70% field goal shooting. Like, that's as elite as it gets, man. Like the Timberwolves, they're feeling bad about this loss because they know what they got from Julius Randle. And, to get that type of production from Julius Randle, you need to win this game, man. Because, I mean, what did you let me check? Julius Randle had 28 points on 13 shots and shot 9 for 13. He had 5 for 6 from 3. You got to capitalize on that type of performance, man. Julius Randle's not going to do that every game, and you lost by 24 points, and that's about as good as the game as you can get from Julius Randle. So, I mean, if Ant and Julius Randle are clicking at the same time, and they could both go for about 30 apiece, then yeah, you might get a win. But how often is that going to happen? And even if that is the case, say Anthony Edwards had a good game this game. I know it's all hypothetical, but say Anthony Edwards had a good game this game, gave you 15 more points, you still lose by 10. So, I mean, it is very discouraging for the Minnesota Timberwolves, man. I didn't think this was going to be a competitive series from the jump. I mean, especially in terms of matchups, too. I mean, Minnesota, I don't want to diminish their conference finals appearance, but the main reason they got this far is because they were bullying the fucking Warriors and Lakers because of their lack of big men. You know, those are the best matchups you could get for the Wolves. The Lakers had shitty big men, and the Warriors have shitty big men, and that's not necessarily the case for OKC. So, I mean, I don't want to say that the Wolves conference finals appearance is kind of a fluke, but not fuck it. I am saying that it is kind of a fluke, man. If they had any other matchup, man, beating the Warriors in 5 and beating the Lakers in 5 is purely because of matchup, bro. Both those teams didn't have no real center. And I think Cash would agree with me on that.
You waiting for my answer?
Yeah, bro. Like, yo, I don't think the Wolves would have beat a team like the Clippers. I don't think the Wolves would have beat a team like the Nuggets. I mean, maybe they would have beat the Nuggets. The Wolves, they kind of built this roster to beat the Nuggets with the addition of Rudy Gobert. But even then, bro, I think the Nuggets still would have beat the Wolves. Like, they bitched the Lakers because they had no big man, and they bitched the Warriors because they had no big man. But now they're up against OKC, and they have decent big man. So I don't think it's going to be a competitive series at all, man.
No, I think it's a fair analysis for real to take, for real. Because even with the Nuggets, like that's not necessarily a team. Like that's still not something where it goes in their favor. You know what I mean? Like I would like that would still be a tough matchup, and that series still did go to 7 games. You know what I mean? So that's also something to look at though too, because that could have easily still went in Denver's favor though too if certain games had switched over. But yeah, so let's tap into the other game, because the other game, the Eastern Conference Finals. That's another game, that's highly anticipated, and obviously, probably the biggest game out of the two series due to the nature of the franchises and the history between these two teams, with the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Right, New York stand up is in the Eastern Conference Finals. Something I like to see. Hold on.
I like to see that too. Looks like some great playoffs.
You know what I mean? So this is something that I'm very, very excited to see. I'm trying to bring this up. My fault. Is the right one? Oh yeah, it is. It is. All right. But what do you guys have to say about this matchup though? With the Pacers, like what are your guys' assessment of the Pacers? Either the Knicks, I would just say keep it at one team for each take, if you choose a team. But then how do you guys like assess this series? Like what are you guys expecting out of this?
Now, what I will say is that the biggest factor in this series is how the Knicks are going to keep up with the Pacers' fast transition and fast play. The Pacers are one of the fastest transition teams in the NBA. As soon as they get that rebound, they love to push the ball up, score quick. They love to move really fast. And with Tom Thibodeau playing his starters all that minutes, if any team can tire out the Knicks, it is going to be the Pacers. The Pacers move extremely fast-paced basketball. They really love to push that court. And what Hawk told me is that the fucking Pacers, that the Knicks are going to stop all that shit. Is that they're going to make them play half-court offense where the Pacers are not as good, and that the Pacers won't do this fast break transition offense like you've seen in the last two series. Now, if that's the case, then in the half-court setting, it's going to be Pascal Siakam just shacking up mid-range shots, and only so many of those are going to go in. I think the Knicks definitely do have the better player in Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson's by far a better scorer than anyone on the Pacers. But the Pacers play really team-oriented basketball, really egalitarian basketball. And I think this series is going to be much more interesting than OKC Timberwolves. I still have to go with the Knicks just based off the talent, man. I think Jalen Brunson is one of those players who's unguardable.
Hmm.
And I think I believe in Brunson as much as Clark does, and I think he will get them over the top. But I think it'll be interesting because we're going to see the Pacers play the utmost team basketball ever. Because Tyrese Halliburton, it's been a while since we've seen a superstar like not like average crazy numbers. Like the last time we saw like a superstar not average crazy numbers was CP3 and the Hornets, bro, back in '09 and shit. Like it's like, but hey man, the way Tyrese moves that team, the way he passes and shit, it makes him a superstar in my opinion, or at least a star. But I mean, like he's not a scorer like Brunson is. Tyrese is known for like getting the team involved and really elevating his team like that. And
Hmm.
Brunson's just a fucking monster when it comes to scoring the basketball. So it's a clash of two styles. You got the Knicks with, give the ball to Brunson and get the fuck out of the way and let him cook, versus the
Hmm.
Pacers, like, we're going to move the ball and get open shots. It's a clash of two styles. I'm very interested in the series. I still got the Knicks because I think Brunson's a significantly better than Tyrese Halliburton. Captain Clutch. I think it'll go at least six, though.
I think it goes 6.
At the very minimum, because like I've been saying all season, Cash, and I know you remember this. I was very high on the Pacers. I've been warning y'all all season long. I said if there's one dark horse team in the East, it's the Pacers, because when the Pacers are rolling offensively, no one can stop them. They move the ball way too fast, and if their threes are hitting, if you got guys like Nemhard going for 20, if you got guys like Turner going for 20, if you guys got like Halliburton go for 20, then it's over with, man. Because if they just love to jack up threes, they really do love to jack up threes, and it's hit or miss sometimes. But I'm telling you, bro, when their threes are hitting, bro, no one can beat them, and they're gonna have at least two games when their threes are just hitting, bro. So yeah, I would love to talk, man, because I think this series is a lot more competitive than people are making it seem. I think New York should definitely still be favored, but when the Pacers are rolling, no team in the NBA can stop them, bro. They move the ball way too fast. They actually just move the ball way too fast. Like it's impossible.
Okay.
And the biggest person to watch in this series is Siakam. If the Pacers were to win this series, Siakam is gonna have to go off. That's the only reason how they win this series. Because when the Pacers are in the half court setting, when the defense is really tight and like there's no like, because Pacers they move the ball up so fast and then they exploit a mismatch because they pass it so well as a team. Everybody on the team just knows where everybody is and they pass it so fast. But if the shit's locked down and there's like less than 10 seconds in the shot clock, Siakam's gonna have a post up ISO midi play because Siakam's their best isolation scorer by far,
Hmm.
and depends how well that guy can score on end and Hobie and Bridges, you know. But yeah, you're in trouble. The Pacers would be in trouble if it's if you're running Siakam ISO too many times. I mean, that's not how they
I,
play.
I would definitely have this series in the Knicks' favor. To be honest, I think it could even go 5 games. To be honest, just because I think the Pacers and the Knicks, like majority of this game is going to be played by their starting five. Like they're going to be playing high 30 minutes, probably even 40 minutes in this game. Like, but don't get me wrong, though. Like what you said, Josh, is like see it at least going 6. That's definitely not far fetched. Like it's probably more likely for it to go 5. But I'm gonna just have it go 5 games because I think the Knicks, right? Like I think they're coming off of a little bit more so off their high horse. I think the Pacers have had a somewhat of a somewhat of, I would say it had an easier stretch, um, than the Knicks. Even though Jason Tatum did go down, unfortunately. But in those first couple games, I think those first 2 games in Boston definitely was a huge tone setter against the defending champions in their home. I think those were statement games. I think those games really mattered in terms of their mindset and how they view going into the game. You know what I mean? I think that shows a lot of grit. And even, not even asserting themselves against the Detroit Pistons, right? Like, even though the Detroit Pistons weren't necessarily favored to win in that series, I think they really showed a lot of potential and the ability to show that, they're not just any uh, running amok team. You know what I mean? Like the Knicks had to come out and perform in the fourth quarter. And I think that's the difference between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks is that, especially, when you have the huge factor in Jalen Brunson, who comes up in the fourth quarter. Like, he's a leading shot taker in the playoffs when it comes to taking at least 22 shots per game. So, you know, Jalen Brunson has had big numbers. He's been coming up big. He's the clutch player of the year. Um, but the Pacers are just a hot team, and I think that's something we have to be extremely mindful of when we're talking about the Indiana Pacers because, they just mesh so well offensively, right? And once they can get on that offensive momentum where they're just hitting. I think that's what makes this game. Uh, it could potentially run away with the Pacers if they start getting on that run, and it's too tough to come back from. So I think that's what Knicks really have to be mindful of, and it would not surprise me if it starts in game one, because we already know what happens with the Knicks. The Knicks, something unfortunate always happens, right? So you always got to throw that out there. But I think I think the Knicks pull out of this series in 5 games.
Okay.
Who do
I don't
you
know.
think? Yeah, sorry.
I agree with Knicks, like winning. Like overall, they're a better team, like across the board.
Mhm.
But I agree more with Josh. Like I don't think it's gonna be like a, a gentleman's sweep. Like I feel like it's gonna be quite competitive. The reason they won't win is, like you said, they will have to overplay Halliburton, Siakam. Like they would have to play 40 minutes. They'll get tired, uh, which was the
But
case.
see, but
But
here's but hold on. Let me cut you off right here, though, bro. But here's the thing, bro. Just because you're looking at it with the wrong mindset, bro. Just because they win in 5 games doesn't necessarily mean the series wasn't competitive, right? Like, each game can still be close. Most of the games in the series could be close. You know what I'm saying? Like, one team might get blown out in the series. Like, that happens, bro. Like, we've seen that in damn near every series we've watched. So, like, what I'm saying, my point is the fact that just because they win in 5 games, it doesn't necessarily mean that each game is not going to be a competitive game. That's all I want to input. But continue your point.
well,
That you
regardless, I feel
feel
like
agree with.
they they have a very good chemistry with Halliburton's playmaking, with his shooting. Siakam's like all around great player. I feel like they'll pull. I feel like they'll pull through,
Hmm.
like at least to 6 or 7. Oh, 6. I'll say 6.
You'll say 6-2.
Hmm.
Do you expect someone underperforming for the Pacers, Cash?
Hmm. I probably don't see Miles Turner maybe coming up as big. Like, I could see Pascal Siakam probably doing, his averages because, he's the veteran. He's kind of been here before. Um, and I think he already knows what it takes. But I think it's really just gonna come down to some of the younger guys like Benedict Mathurin, right? He's kind of important when it comes to this team and their rotation. Um, in Halliburton, right? Like Halliburton is somebody that we do have to pay attention to in this series because he can't just be a general floor general. He can't just be a regular, a passing guard in this series. Like he has to provide production on really on multiple ends of the offense, I may say. So he can't he has to shoot well. He has to score moderately. Like he doesn't like he's good enough to get so many people involved. He doesn't need to score 30. I'm not looking for Tyrese Halliburton to score 30, right? Like I think at the bare minimum, if everybody can score their averages, right? Like that's what can pull them away from the Knicks with defense, right? So in the Knicks, they just know what it takes when it comes down to at least guarding them, manning up. Like they have very good wing players, and that's what I've alluded to for so long is that having good defending wing players makes a huge difference, right? Because they can guard at your perimeter, and you feel comfortable, right? When matchups are able to switch off, right? So, um, I think that's really going to be the difference. The Pacers, they're hot, like they're such a dangerous team. They can creep up on you at any time. But I genuinely think that the Knicks, like being that the teams that they've beaten, how they've beaten them, and how they've just kind of shut things down in the fourth quarter, I genuinely think that this is the year that the New York Knicks go to the NBA Finals. There's no way. I say there's no way.
Wow.
And I think it's going to be that much on the Knicks' shoulder. I think what the Knicks have with Jalen Brunson, Kyle Bridges, OG, Cat, and whoever's filling up the center, with Mitchell Robinson. But you know what I mean? But I feel like with this core, what they have right now, I've never seen this in the New York Knicks.
They're
That
winning it all.
And Cash, just to add another
no,
element to this,
I'm not saying for them to win it all. I didn't say that, AK, but that's a different question. But what were you gonna say, Josh, before I get to AK?
you made me think of a different element to this, Cash, and like this is not me like diminishing like the Knicks' talent or anything, but like we do all know that the NBA is a product, right? The NBA seeks to entertain, make money, right? To gain viewership, gain hype.
Mhm.
The NBA wants the Knicks in the finals, bro. They don't want no Indiana Pacers in the finals, baby. They don't want the New York Knicks in the finals, man. Like, bro, you know how the like now that I'm thinking about it, bro, the finals would actually be shit if the Pacers beat the Knicks. Which we know the NBA is a little rigged now. Like it's not completely rigged, but it's a little rigged now. And yeah, bro, you might see Brunson average a cool 15 free throws against the Pacers, man. I ain't gonna lie. You might see him
Nah,
get a little bit more calls.
you might be you might be right though. Like I can't because I can't knock it, bro. Like I'm keeping it 100. Like it would definitely set a completely different tone if this is any other team. Like I think the Knicks are probably the only team that has to be in the finals, low key, for it to be polarizing. You get what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I don't think like I think it would still be better if it was OKC. Like I think it amplifies it if it's OKC versus the Knicks. But if it's Timberwolves and the Knicks, I think it's a tier down, but it's still going to be a great, you can still make something out of it.
Really,
Marketability,
people
right?
are saying like, yeah, you're the first person that said that because everybody I heard, wants it to be Wolves and Knicks for the finals. They think that
No,
would be the most entertaining final.
no,
They're
no.
saying because Cat and Randall, you have that story element right there. Then you also got, like Anthony Edwards. What I will give him credit for is that
Mhm,
Anthony Edwards is the face of the league right now. Like that,
mhm.
like that's something I do have to give him credit for. Like that guy, that guy's funny as hell. He's got charisma, and just his personality is fucking like this guy. This guy just has Hall of Fame charisma, bro. And like Shea's like too nonchalant to be face of the league. So, getting Ant, and then you got the Karl Anthony Towns and Randall rivalry, bro. Like, I see what people say. I definitely see what people are saying, but unfortunately, that kid from Toronto is just too good at the sport of basketball. But yeah, that's another point, bro. I just wanted to address that because I appreciate you saying that. Because you're the first person I heard say that. But most people I've been seeing say that Willis Knicks is the most ideal finals in terms of like entertainment.
No, I mean it's just because like they try to make it seem like SGA is like I guess like a flopper, and to be honest, I really don't understand this this notion of like free throws in the playoffs because free throws in the playoffs are important, bro. Like
He's
they
a merchant.
amplify their what?
He is a merchant, just like
No, he's
Carter.
not. Jokic averaged more free throws against Shea
But
didn't.
hold on though, Josh. But hold on though, Josh, because even with that point, because Josh is right, because you even called me and asked me about that, and I mentioned to you that Jokic had more free throws than SGA in that game, bro.
In the entire series, he did.
Because he actually got fouled by Caruso. Do you see
Oh,
that?
but he actually gets fouled.
But you don't understand my point, AK, is that regardless of it, is that free throws matter in the playoffs, bro. They're an important factor in the game, especially if you're talking about fourth quarter games when the team is up, right? And they're down with either in two scores, a score, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, regardless, and then they're trying to foul. Guess what? What's going to happen? They're going to the free throw line. So a lot of those free throws can happen at the end of the game. So it could be deliberate. Like that's not something like that's not a stat we look at, bro. Like that's not something to hound and be like, oh, he had this many free throws. Like it is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's still integral to the game because I don't care how much a guy goes to the free throw line. What I care about is how many he makes at the free throw line. You get what I'm saying? Like it means a lot more for him to go to the line and make majority of his shots. Because regardless, the refs are going to call what they call, bro. You get what I mean? We have no control over that. We've seen refs make bad calls. We've seen refs make other calls, calls they're supposed to make. You know what I mean? But I don't think this is something that has to be focused on. You know what I'm saying? Like because I feel like with SGA's game, if this was like the 90s, SGA would be revered, bro. He would be like, no shit. Like he would probably be like, he would be the best player, one of the best players. They would glorify his game. Like SGA is having such a extraordinary season, bro. You know what I mean? And there's been a lot of great players that had great seasons this year. I'm not trying to say
this
I'm not
is different. This is level.
I'm not trying to set him apart, especially when it comes to Jokic, because I know what Jokic brings to the game. You know what I mean? But SGA right now, if he can pull this through, if OKC if OKC and SGA can pull this through, right, we would literally be seeing the ascension of somebody like SGA finally, breaking that mold and being one of the claiming, that tier as one of the best players, and that will forever cement their game and their name in NBA history. And that's something that now, like for conversations like this, right now, I can confidently say like, if SGA were to win MVP and win a title, see now, Josh, I can entertain the conversation about SGA being the best player in the league.
Hey man, but I saw the future, Cash. Respectfully, like I know, you're.
I know you did. I know what you were. I get that. I get that part. I'm just saying from my end, I don't feel comfortable about that until he can take the crown. You get what I'm saying? I don't give it until it's due, and that's my
No,
point.
for sure.
It's not to say
For
that
sure.
SGA wasn't capable of it, because the same way how I'm talking right now towards SGA, I've applied it in the same stint with Jokic. Even though Jokic is still like Jokic number wise and what he brings to the game is out of this world. when it comes to what he can do. But what I acknowledge, at least when I'm watching the game, is that Jokic is a center and SGA is a guard. You know what I mean? So now we're seeing a guy from last year being the number one seed. They didn't go as far as they should have, right? And then now they've ascended that, right? They've had a good run. Now, I mean, it's not all the way there yet. There's they still got to close out this series, and it's still game one. But I think it would definitely be something to see OKC and SGA and Jalen Brunson clash in the ABA final. I think that would be a very, very good series to see, especially they're two young teams. I mean, they're two young teams. Like we're seeing almost like a new era wave of basketball of young players competing for a championship because we're getting new champions now. We got new champions. It's just a
We
matter
do,
of who.
bro. Hey man, SGA, Brunson, and Luca, all from that same draft class, 2017 draft class, is gonna go down as one of the greatest draft classes of all time. Shout out Brunson, but hey man, Cash, I respect where you're coming from, bro, because you're definitely more like a responsible analyst than me when it comes to that. Like you're more of a believe it till I see it type of guy. But like I'm more of a like, yo, I see it, I believe it type of guy. Like I saw this shit, bro. And I'm gonna double down what I'm saying right now since you told me you're open for these conversations. When it's all said and done, Shea's gonna be one of the greatest players of all time. And if you have him outside your top five, when it's all said and done, you don't know basketball, bro. I'm telling you right now, Shea's gonna win at least 4 of the next 6 championships, bro. 4 Finals MVPs. He's gonna do it all within the 6 years, bro. I'm calling it right now, bro. This is a level of greatness that, like, it's hard to see, bro. There's no answers for him when it comes to stopping him from score, bro. Like, this is a guy. He's gonna win at least 4 out of the next 6, and with that right there, bro, in terms of accolades, bro, he's gonna be in that top five. He's gonna be in that top five, bro. It's gonna be Michael Jordan, you know, got guys like Kareem, LeBron, KD, and then she's gonna be right there. She's gonna pass up KD, and then yeah,
Oh,
bro. I mean, this is bro. He's gonna be in gold conversation. Like in the
bro,
year 2030.
you're not
No,
an
no, no. In the
analyst.
year,
You're a delusional one. Like, bro,
no, no, no. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
constantly saying
I,
all
no,
this shit you're
bro,
saying.
yeah, because I was delusional back then, and now I'm making more sense
Right.
now. And then each year we get closer to this, I'm gonna keep making more and more sense, bro, because I am seeing the future, bro. When it's all said and done, I truly believe, I truly believe that what we're seeing right now is the greatest player of all time, bro. And I'm so fucking serious, bro. I think, bro, from what my eye test, bro, I don't think I have ever seen a better basketball player since I was watching basketball, bro. I think right now he's better than LeBron James has ever been. I think right now he's better than KD has ever been. He's even better right now than my goat James Harden has ever been, bro. I'm seeing this shit right now, bro. The way he fucking dribbles the basketball, hits you with the hezzy, bro, gets to his spot, bro. He does that step back. He's so acrobatic. He's so flexible. Pause. But he's so like he gets to his spot. He can get to the rim, bro. He shoots the mid range, bro. No one can stop him, bro. I'm telling you, bro. We have never. This is the shiftiest player all time already, and this is just the greatest scorer of all time already, bro. I'm telling you, bro. He doesn't have the accolades to back it up. But in the year 2030, I believe we'll be looking at this guy and say, "Yo, this guy is better than anyone has ever played the game of basketball, bro." I'm so serious when I say that, bro. I'm not even trolling, bro. I believe that shit on my fucking heart, bro. I swear to God.
That's the most delusional shit I've ever heard. Not gonna lie.
Bro, I'm watching this guy, bro. No one can stop him, bro. No one can. I think he's a better scorer than anyone has ever been, bro. I'm so serious.
Nah, bro. I think you're bugging the hell out on that one. I think he has a
Yeah, bro,
long
that's
free
cool.
to go, bro.
I'm telling you,
Long
bro.
I think that was probably like one of the craziest takes.
Hey, bro.
You see, I was trying to give it to you, and then you just drained it all the way down, bro.
Bro, I believe every word of what I just said, bro. I think that what I'm watching right now truly is the GOAT, bro. And like he doesn't have the accolades to back it up, but I believe he will one day.
Bro. Can we just like ban that word from basketball, bro? Can we just stop bringing up GOAT in basketball? Because honestly, it just deteriorates like that topic, bro. and everything.
Because there is only one, and we all know.
Michael Jordan.
Of course.
And then you got AK who's too young to even watch any game of MJ, and then you say he need to go. Your goat is Jokic, bro. Your goat is not MJ, bro. Your goat is Jokic, bro.
Well, Jokic top 10 all time already, top 5.
All right, so then he's your goat. He's your only goat, bro. You only have two options. You have Luka and you have Jokic. And I know now you're gonna be hating on Luka because he's a Laker now. So just stay with Jokic, bro. Don't be switching off. Don't be talking about MJ. Leave those players alone, bro. This is a completely new era of basketball. That's over damn near 30 years ago, bro.
No.
You know what I mean?
All I know. I'll stick with Jokic, and Jokic is going to come back greater next year. That's all that matters.
Okay, Jokic, sure. Yeah, but
just like last playoffs.
But see, and they do, right? They said that last year. And guess what? Jokic did come back better than last year. He did. He did. Jokic came back. Yeah, you said Jokic is. You said the same thing. He said,
"Oh, it's including the team." I'm saying they'll reform the team.
Jokic came back better than last year. Guess what? They still lost
because the team didn't improve with Jokic. That's the
issue. But isn't that what we've been? At least that's what I've been alluding to, right? Like, I know the Nuggets are a good team, right? But they're
like, look, since they won the chip, they've only became worse overall. They lost their bench players. They lost KCP. Like, all overall, they deteriorated. But they were still the most dangerous team in the playoffs because of Jokic.
I mean, right now, OKC looks like the most dangerous team in the playoffs because they beat them.
Barely 7 games, regardless.
Bro, so what about the Clippers? No. Yo, do the Clippers get any fucking credit for taking the Nuggets to 7 games when the Nuggets took OKC to 7 games? Or are we just not going to give them any fucking credit?
Hey, those are not the same.
They're the exact same things, bro. You said
one's in the first round, one's in the second round.
Yeah, but why does it matter when it happened? It's both 7 games, bro. Your argument is that Denver deserves fucking credit for taking OKC to 7 games, and I'm asking, what about the Clippers who took Denver to 7 games?
Well, you see, it's so. But you gotta look at those games because, like, when Clippers won, they beat them by like 3 points. When Nuggets won, they beat them by like 30 or something. Those were like below.
Yeah, and when the Nuggets beat OKC, they beat them by 2 points, and when OKC beat Nuggets, they beat them by 30 or something. The same situation applies.
No, I was watching those games. The first and last game. The others were like 7 points or like.
And first off, you're wrong because game 1, when the Nuggets won, they literally won by 2 points, and then game 4, they won by a putback dunk by Aaron Gordon.
I'm talking about OKC, like when they won by like 40 points.
But you told me that when Denver beat the Clippers, they were winning by 30, 20 points. No, bro, I can literally think of 2 games off the top of my head where game 1 was a very close game. They won by 3 points. And then game 4 literally took Aaron Gordon to have a fucking airball putback dunk to win that game. So you're just wrong.
Well, in the end of the day, they lost in the first round.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the Nuggets lost in the second round. Get them boys out of here. And can we talk? Okay, can we talk about the Nuggets, Cash? Can we dedicate some time to talk about the Nuggets?
Do you
to dedicate?
No, because this is very serious. Let me put up the stats.
We're Jokic fans.
Whereas
let me pull up the stats real quick because I want to make sure I'm accurate with what I'm saying. Because Jokic deserves a lot of criticism.
Oh yeah.
So in game 7 of the NBA playoffs versus OKC, no, Artem, please let me talk uninterrupted, and I will give you all the time you need to rebuttal this. In a critical game 7, win or go home, game 7, pressure on the line. You talk about Harden choking in game 7s, about how he's a choke artist. In the most critical game, win or go home, your team needs you. Jokic only attempted 9 shots in 37 minutes of basketball in their 32-point loss versus OKC. OKC won 125, Nuggets won 93. Jokic only took 9 shots the entire game. He finished with 20 points, 9 of which came from the free throw line. Jokic was a free throw merchant that game. He had 11 free throws. He shot 9 for 11 from the free throw. 20 points in a game 7, and he only took 9 shots. Why did Jokic only take 9 shots in the game 7? Does Jokic not deserve? No.
Whole team was playing shit. MPJ doesn't know how to play basketball no more. They should just I'm gonna blame the whole thing on MPJ because he was terrible. Honestly, the worst player I've seen. For all the glaze he was getting, all the praise, him being Curry out there, he
No one ever compared him to Curry.
Oh, him shooting wise, from perimeter, yeah.
Especially not shooting wise, no one ever compared him to Curry. And why did Jokic only take 9 shots in a critical game 7 and finished with a measly 20 points when they needed a big performance out of him?
Well, it happened. He still had the most on his team. So, as I'm concerned, he did the best he could. What you should be concerned about is his teammates who, Murray, for example, who had 6 out of 16. Terrible.
But Murray's not the best player on that team. He's not the superstar talent, bro. This comes down to Jokic to dominate this game. We needed a 40-piece out of Jokic. And who was guarding him? Why did Alex Caruso lock him up? Why did Alex Caruso lock him up? Why did Alex Caruso lock him up? Jokic is not a better player than Shaquille O'Neal. I never want to hear it again. People are saying I'm taking pride Jokic over Shaquille O'Neal. I never want to hear that shit again. You know what Shaquille O'Neal would do if Alex Caruso was guarding him? They said, Alex Caruso was hacking him.
Bro, Alex Caruso was fouling him. He didn't guard him.
Cool. You know what would happen? You know what would happen if Alex Caruso was fouling Shaquille O'Neal, bro? Alex Caruso could literally grab Shaquille O'Neal by his fucking 12-inch dick, literally rip it out, pull as hard as he wants to, tug of war style, bro. Shaquille O'Neal would average 50 points. Shaquille O'Neal would average 50 points.
Negative.
On Alex Caruso? 6'3" Alex Caruso? Who weighs 170 pounds on a good day?
Alex Caruso fouling him. Bro, it would happen the same with Shaq because he would just get fouled by Alex Caruso.
Yeah, and Shaq would dunk on him every time and put up 45 points that game, bro. Stop it, bro.
Well, my point is he wasn't defending. He was just fouling him pretty much.
So Jokic gets no criticism for that game.
Because if you watch the game like I did, you would see that
every time
Caruso
money on the game actually
was on him, he was fouling.
I had money on the game actually. I did turn off by the mid-third quarter though, because it was over at that point. Cash, do you give any criticism for Jokic in that Game 7 performance when Alex Caruso locked him up?
No, absolutely. Them 9 shots are unacceptable, bro.
Unacceptable.
The fact that you even tried to make an excuse for that, AK, is kind of pathetic, bro. I'm not going to hold you.
Damn.
Because he shouldn't have had nine shots in that game. He should have at least had 15 shots. And I would, in that situation, right, I get on Harden for doing the same thing. And Jokic is somebody that's an MVP in his MVP season, bro. Let's say the MVP conversation was to be decided after that series. Jokic just lost MVP, bro. So everything about what we talked about, up to that point, he lost MVP in that series, bro. That was a way to make the best argument.
It wasn't even supposed to be going to Game 7. It was supposed to end before.
It doesn't matter, bro. It came down to a Game 7. Game 7, bro.
MPJ
Game 7
was actually know how to play basketball if Murray wasn't 30% field goal, it would have ended in like
Murray's the reason they got to Game 7 in the first place. Murray had a
Well,
great series except for that
and
Game
now
7.
you understand
there
that.
was one game.
He played great the entire series except
No,
Game 7.
only one game where he carried.
So then
Okay,
now
so
you.
let's think we have stats. We actually have stats to back that up.
Why don't you put that in the stream, bro? So I can put it up. Put it up.
I can send a link.
Yeah, send the link.
I gotta find.
But what were you saying, AK? Were you saying something?
No, Josh was.
But nah, where I was getting at is it doesn't matter if it was going to Game 7 or not. Regardless, it came down to a Game 7, which is winner take home, bro.
And bro, he was good. He played over 40 minutes for 14 games. Bro's exhausted. Happens.
For 14 games.
Yeah, both series went to 7 games. He played over 40 minutes in each because they have no bench whatsoever. He
Okay,
gets
then.
no time to chill, unlike OKC where SGA plays like 30 minutes and something. Like, look at their game today. He played like 32 minutes. Jokic, the whole series plays over 40 minutes.
They said I can't send the chat. Cash had said it's private. I can send it private.
My point is, if he actually got to play less minutes, then it would have been. This guy Jokic sits down. They put him on the bench for 2 minutes, and they're down by 12 points. I mean, what else is he supposed to do? His team is dog shit without him, which proves my point that without them, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs. Literally down by 12 points in 2 minutes when Jokic went on the bench.
I think Game 5 and Game 6 is the most important Jamal Murray stat because at that point they were down 3-2 in the series, and he responded in Game 5 and in Game 6. I mean,
It's
for a second option, that's pretty good. They won both those games. Let me see if I get a better link.
Yeah, Jamal Murray be coming up small, and not just him, MPJ also.
Well, I said that MPJ was like the most disappointing player.
Yeah, I'll give you that for sure. MPJ was definitely he came up small for sure, and he apparently he was injured, but lo and behold, like he doesn't create.
Like Aaron Gordon was playing for the injury, and that's a recent one, and he played way better.
No, but he was only playing through that injury in that last game. I'm talking about in the entirety of the playoffs, and particularly this series, right? Like MPJ, I didn't think he had a good series overall. You know what I mean?
No, he's gonna get traded.
Yeah, he's more than likely. I don't think
his value is too low right now. How do you get? See, that's the thing, bro. When someone does shit in the playoffs and then the response is we're gonna trade him, bro, his value drops. So you're not gonna get equitable compensation. But who are you gonna trade him for?
Apparently, I heard that he did it on purpose because he betted on a game like his brother did, that got suspended from NBA.
That's what.
Yeah.
Are they betting on games?
Yeah. He bet on his unders every game.
I think Jamal Murray had a great series versus OKC.
Except last game. And the one where he had 14 and 17.
Yeah, but the game he had 14, they lost by 30 anyways, and the game that he had 13, they lost by 30 anyways. So it's like,
No,
say,
so
like this,
17.
this all. I know, but this is all hypothetical. 17, yeah, but that 17 was you needed him to get that 17,
Yeah,
bro.
but look at the minute difference. He had around same points, but there was like 10 more minutes.
Yeah, okay, but even that 17 performance, man, it's all tough shots, and at the end they finished with 17, which like it's a bad game for Jamal Murray, but he still gave you 17. They were down 3-2 in the series, and then he responded with 28 points. Um, no, sorry, it was tied 2-2 in the series, and then in game five he gave you 28 points, and in game six he gave you 25 points. I mean, and he had a 27 point in there too, bro. Jamal Murray does what he needs to do as a second option. Jamal Murray as a second option is not the issue. Jamal Murray is a great second option. He's one of the best second options in the league, in my opinion. Jamal Murray needs more credit, bro, because Jokic fans are toxic. Because what Jokic fans do is they diminish the impact of Jamal Murray to elevate the status of Jokic, and I think it's the most disgusting thing in the NBA right now, bro. Jamal Murray needs more credit, bro. Jamal Murray is an elite second option, and he needs to go up in the player rankings, bro. Like we said, like me and Cash agreed on, Jamal Murray is way better than J Dub and is way better than any second option OKC has. J Dub had a shit series versus Denver, and they still bounced back. So Jamal Murray is not the issue, bro. Jamal Murray gives you type of production that you expect from a second option, more than you expect from a second option.
Put up Jokic's stat. No?
In terms of what? With the
Well,
last game?
No, the game log for the playoffs. Like same thing, but for Jokic.
Nah, I don't think I want to do that, bro. No, I'm kidding.
Damn. You see that? No, that's
I see,
like
I see 9 shots taken in the game.
See that too. In the game 7. Yeah, I see that too.
Minus 23. Plus minus, bro.
It's pretty shit.
Oh man, stat pattern. That's what I see. Stat pad.
because he gets fouled by Caruso.
Stat pad. That's what I see, bro. Stat pad. He was like, you know what? We losing this game. I'm finna make my numbers look like I did the best, or I did my best.
Yeah,
So
that's just blasphemy. You don't believe that?
How?
No,
What you see on the screen here, bro?
Best that Jokic could.
Bro, what you no?
His
This
team
is not the best.
underperformed.
So you're telling me, bro? You're telling me 9? Hold on. You're telling me what? How many shots?
9 shot attempted. He took 9.
No, 11. It's 11 shots.
9-11?
That's free throws. That's free throws, Cash.
No, it was
Okay.
9-11.
Oh yeah, 5-11. 5-11. So he took 9 shots. Look at all these other games. Fit right here. 14, 25, 22, 25, 16, 29, 14, 22, 13, 25, 14, 16, 24. Bro, where do you see 9 here, bro? Where do you see a single digit in any of these games? Even going back all the way to 2024, bro, against the Lakers, bro.
Yeah, those are attempted, not made.
No, but
I know,
regardless,
but that's the thing.
bro, understand, bro. You trying to find every excuse in there.
No,
Bro,
but that's
you
on
trying to
purpose.
every excuse.
He always gets fouled.
This is a series where they swept the Lakers, right? With the one that you bring up. The game that he took the least field goal attempts, bro, is a game 7.
Unacceptable.
Like that's not hard to understand, bro. An attempt is taking a shot, bro. It's not making it. It's literally shooting it. Anybody could do that, bro. Anybody could do that. That means I could go on, bro. I can go on the NBA court and take 9 shots, bro. That's how easy that is. And I'm not saying I'm gonna make it, I'm just saying I just gotta shoot it. It doesn't matter if I make it, bro.
Unacceptable.
Like,
Well,
come on, bro. Bro,
all
if
I
this
know
was
is that
this was
Shane's got
LeBron, if this was
more of
Harden,
that.
bro,
So
we
at
just,
the end
bro,
of the day,
understand what I'm saying is
wait,
we,
Shea actually draws them because he's a merchant. Jokic, he gets fouled, so he has to take them.
but SGA
What?
gets fouled too, bro. How you say he doesn't get fouled?
Nah, he just like
Bro, if you're bringing up Instagram clips, bro, I don't use that. I don't use Instagram clips. That's not
not
substance,
about
bro.
Instagram. It's about how he makes them. Because Jokic actually tries to make them and they foul him because he knows in the end of the day it's gonna get in. So they have to foul him because he's not the best free throw shooter. They do it on purpose. While Shea, I mean, he's a better free throw shooter,
I
so
mean, but he's a he, but
that's why he does it on purpose. He's pulling for a foul, so he would shoot free throws.
but SGA is just as good, if not better, outside outside of the outside of the paint, bro. Like SGA can score from all over the court, also, just as much as Jokic, if not more so, because that's his game. Like, bro, we talk about taking shots, bro. Like, what is it they're not to understand, dog? Like, that has nothing to do with free throws, bro. Has nothing to do with free throws. Because I feel like if there were any other player, right, bro, we just got on Harden about that. I'm just being honest though. Like this is I generally feel like this is an
We're
honest
comparing
assessment.
a guard to a center. Of course, they're
Yes,
gonna.
and the center is a center close to the rim. Is he closer to the rim? Is he not? He's closer to the rim, right?
Yeah.
With Shaq in Game 7, do you think Shaq would only take 9 shots in a Game
Fuck
7?
no.
He wouldn't take any shots because
My God, bro.
Blasphemy.
Bro,
bro. In the end of the day,
you're delusional, bro. You
nah,
coming on here.
at the end of the day, as I said, that Jokic, they just have to follow him. Alex Caruso would be in, or I mean, Shaq would be in the same situation if he played. Oh,
No, it doesn't, bro. That doesn't help their situation because Shaq is not as good as a free throw shooter as Jokic, bro. Jokic is still knocking down his free throws. He's still knocking down majority of his free throws. He's an 80% free throw shooter. So it doesn't help to foul Jokic regardless. And field goal attempts are not free throw attempts. Those are two different things. If you go for a shot, right, and you're fouled and it misses, it doesn't count as a free throw, a field goal. You go to the line, and then it counts as a free throw, right?
yeah. But what we're looking at are field goals, right?
Yes, field goals. The 9 field goals that he attempted. I am asking you, why did he only attempt 9 field goals in a Game 7, bro?
Bro,
That means he only took 9 shots.
because he was gassed. I told you.
Gosh, bro.
Whether that's a layup, a mid range, or a three, it all
He
counts as a
played
shot.
less minutes. He played less minutes in this game and shot less, bro.
Well, yeah, because it was a blowout. There was no point. No
So
point.
he gave up. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Nah, bro,
Okay.
he didn't give up, man.
I give it that. I give it that. And I don't knock it because honestly, that game was it was out of their realm anyway for the most part of that game. So I'll give you that. There was nothing to really hang on to at that point.
There wasn't. Like,
Yo,
I
you was just trying to get that
I
triple
wasn't
double. So
joking
why
about
do you
the
say
part
this one
where
triple?
Jokic.
Oh, one mic at a time.
I wasn't joking about the part where Jokic, they put him on a bench for 2 minutes, and they were down by 12 points. Like at that point, there was no point.
I got you, bro. I got you. I'm not being sarcastic either. I'm being dead serious. um, but yeah, nah. Regardless, though, it was a good series, though. I just wish that game would have been a little bit closer, though. Between them, but it is what it is, man. You know,
What it is.
OKC, as you can see, knocked down that first game one against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm excited to see the next game. So you already know tomorrow. It is tomorrow, correct? Knicks,
Yes.
Celtics tomorrow, right?
Yep.
So that's something we going to tune into tomorrow, right? Celtics in Boston. Celtics in Boston. Boston out. New York in Knicks. And
In New York and Pacers.
the Pacers. My fault. I'm having a brain fall right here. My bad.
You're good. I know what you
The
mean.
Pacers and Knicks. Pacers and Knicks tomorrow. The historic rivalry between the Pacers and the Knicks. So I'm definitely gonna be excited to see that one. That game is definitely gonna be full of energy. You already know, man. The New York crowd is gonna go stupid. They are going to go. I know y'all already seen it. They've been acting like freaking spazzes and Neanderthals, and you can New
Yes.
York. You can't have anything good over there. New York can't have anything good over there. But lo and behold, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna show out. They're gonna pop out. You feel me? They're gonna do their thing. So I'm not gonna hold you. I think I might even have to make a trip back to New York if they make it all the
Bro,
way.
I heard the energy in the streets is different, bro. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
It
like
goes.
just walking in the city, bro. Like, yo, like from what I've heard, bro, is that like, yo, there's something in the air that's magical, bro. Like, people just smiling, walking down the streets. You know how New York is, bro. Everybody be frowning and shit walking down the street. But nowadays in this summer, you know, at least right now in late May, you got smiles in the streets, bro. People are happy, walking around. Apparently you walk in the streets, take a breath of that New York air, and bro, you just feel positivity, bro. That's what I've been
Hon-
hearing.
Honestly, they wanna be Philly fans. Quite embarrassing.
Bro, New York is not famous, bro.
Yeah, but Eagles just won the fucking shit, the Super Bowl. So I mean, not like
Eagles, bro. Eagles fans, Philly fans, and New York fans are not the same, bro. Trust that, bro. They're not the
Yeah,
same.
that's what I'm saying. Philly are a different level, and New York wanna be like Philly.
No, bro.
nah,
New
nah.
York never wanted to be like Philly. New York. Think about this. New York has maintained its energy and like in its fervor for the team, even with winning absolutely nothing for the past couple years or so. Right? Like Philly is just as passionate about their team, but New York is the mecca of basketball, bro. Like, and that's generally true, bro. Like everybody in New York, mostly everybody in New York loves basketball. Like it's hard for you to not find a basketball fan in New York, bro. It's very hard for you to not find a basketball fan in New York City.
Mm.
No lie, no lie.
You know what I mean? Like everywhere you go, there's a basketball court. I mean, I'm pretty sure you knew that. You probably I think you lived in New York for a little bit of time, but yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Like everywhere you go, there's a basketball court. So this is it. So hey, if y'all tuning in though, hit that like button, subscribe. If you guys like what y'all saw today, again, this is Cash Media coming back at you, talking sports takes and topics. Um, yeah, we had a good one. We had a good conversation. So who you guys got to end it off? Who you guys got winning game one tomorrow against the Pacers and the Knicks?
Pacers.
Next.
Okay, okay. I'll say Pacers game one too, just because I could see them at least taking game one, and then Knicks probably closing out for the rest. But hey, I could be wrong though. All right, so tune in next time. Cash Media. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and tune to you later.